Hey everyone.
I'm Jane.
I'm Kitten.
As you know, my name is Pat. It's that time again. It's time for another episode of the Kinky Christian Podcast. We got this. Deep breath in.
Right.
Because it's time. Breathe. For another episode of the Kinky Christian Podcast.
What do you do at work all day?
Absolutely nothing, which is why I come home with energy.
Clearly.
Yeah. So welcome again, everybody. I say everybody, anyone who's bored enough to listen to us.
Just be happy that we have people
We
listening.
do have people. We have lovely people listening to us and watching us. So welcome to the Kinky Christian Podcast. I am Pat, and with me is my lovely Kitten.
Hi, I'm Kitten.
Look, she did that. I finally trained her. She introduced herself without me having to say anything. Don't give me the look. You know what I'm talking about. Put the claws away. So in this episode, we kind of want to touch, I know we've touched on this in the past in other episodes, but we wanted to kind of devote a full episode to talking about, I don't really want to call them like subcultures, but
Subcategories.
yeah, they're more like categories. I mean, I'm not a fan of labeling things anyway, so that my ear itched. Someone must be talking about me, right?
No,
No?
that's your nose.
Oh, so if my ear itches, am I getting money? Or...
No, that's your hands.
So if my
One
ear...
is that you're losing it. The other one's you're getting it. I don't know anything about an itching ear other than Kitten needs to clean them again. I don't know.
Or tick.
Well,
Check me for ticks.
it's possible
It's
here.
possible, yeah. Anyway,
Squirrel.
they get ticks too.
They do.
Yeah.
That's how they get into our area, and the deers.
Dang squirrels.
Deer ticks.
Deer ticks. Lunatics.
No, that's me.
So we want to talk about the different categories, I guess we're going to call them. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but just to kind of educate a little bit on how diverse the lifestyle is. It's not just what you see on TV or, 50 Shades, that is such a minute portion of what's out there, because just in the limited exposure we've had, we've only been doing this 4 years, 5 years, 4 years.
No, it's 5.
21, 22, 20. Well, it was 19, right? 19 or 20? 19. So 5 years. See, I can math. It just takes some time when you're my age. And don't ask my age because I'd have to calculate with years, and that's too many numbers. Mm-hmm. So we've only been doing this for 5 years. And you have to also keep in mind that our exposure is
very limited
because we're not extroverts. So we don't go out to a lot of munches or a lot of gatherings. We do Kinky College. And also because being a Christian, it's also then difficult to strike up a lot of conversations. Once you mention Christian, people tend to shy away. So,
on top of the fact that our rural area that we live in is
horribly sparse.
Yeah, and some of the people that we've engaged with, their main focus is just the sexual aspect of it, and that's not what we're about.
No, not at all. Which kind of actually plays into how we look at the lifestyle and that in like two camps.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
The old guard and the new guard. The old guard is more the respect and traditional values and that kind of stuff. Whereas the new guard is more just out to, I don't know why I call them the new guard, the new generation, the next generation coming up is more out to just have a good time and get laid and who cares about anything else. And that's fine. I'm not criticizing either one of them, but I just want you guys to know that we're more the old traditional.
We're old.
We are old and traditional. I mean, tradition. Yeah, we'll go with it.
Yeah. Well,
So you have those two different views on the lifestyle in general. And within each of them, I believe you have all of the little sub categories,
yeah. A lot of the old guard is associated generally. I mean, it's like when you talk about old guard, the first thing that comes to mind is leather.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were like they're the old G.
Yeah.
So I mean,
They are.
we wouldn't be where we are today without them.
Yeah.
Which
And
I
there's-
learned today that there was like 3 subgroups, and I didn't know
Of
that.
leather?
Yeah, so there's like the fairies, the bears, and then the leathermen. When I was trying to look up some more of the things, and I was like, huh. I mean, I'd heard of the bears and I've heard of the leathermen.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard of the two, but I've never heard of the fairies.
I didn't know that fairies was associated with
The leather
community. Yeah. And then there was also part of it about, I didn't like it. The wording just really rubbed me wrong, but it was back in the 70s and it was like the dyke something, and I can't remember what it was, but when I read it, I was just like, oh. I didn't like it. So I'm not, that's not listed.
That's not on. We will leave that one off. Now, that being said, if you're consider yourself a dyke and proud of it, we're not trying to knock the words,
Right.
It's different comfort zones for different people.
Yeah, I find the word itself
For you, it's very
offensive
yeah.
towards a lesbian. So
Another person or whatever.
right, it
yeah.
just did not sit well with me.
Yeah. Yep, I get it. And that's something you got to stop and think about when you're looking into these. Everyone has their own different comfort levels on everything from words to actions to communities to get involved in. For instance, and this hopefully this ain't as bad as my garbage analogy, but
Oh boy, here
well,
we
no,
go.
because here's the thing. There are people out there, when you stop and think about kink, there are people out there who like scat.
Yes,
That's
a fetish.
That's a fetish, but it grosses me out.
right.
But I'm not going to like downplay or
Kink shame.
kink shame or berate anyone who's into that.
Right.
That is their thing, and it's not for me to worry about.
Right.
As a Christian, my job is love others as God loves me.
Yep.
So that's what I try to do. Not my kink. I find it very disgusting, but I also find eating oysters very disgusting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So take it for what it's worth. But we try not to kink shame anyone, and there are people out there that, use the word dyke as an empowerment thing, and, more power to you. That's fine. Your comfort zone is your comfort zone, and you have to live your life and function within your comfort zone.
Yeah, that was not
within your comfort zone.
Well, not only that, but that was not the way that it was presented in the text that I was reading. So
Right.
that's another reason it felt like
And-
disrespectful.
And that's also why context is very important.
Correct.
When you're doing or reading or anything, context is very important.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, if someone were to walk in during one of our scenes and see me beating you while you're tied down, and they didn't have the context of what was going on, I'm in jail, and you're getting a lawyer. So yeah, context is important.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's leather, which again, they're kind of the OGs. They're the ones who came before us and really fought the battle to.
They've been through it.
Yeah. So, and we kind of align ourselves with that, not the leather group, but that, the old guard.
A lot of respect there.
A lot of respect there. So, then we have, what do you got on your list?
Poly.
Yep, polyamorous. And for those of you who don't know, polyamorous is people who just love people and are okay with multiple partners, even in what do they call it, a polycule? Living together, not living together, but in some sort of a relationship, and it can be everyone all together. It can be a man and a woman, and each have their own little offshoots, but they never come all together. I mean,
They have specific words for them that are like
right.
fleeting my brain right now.
Well, and I don't really get into all the word. I mean, labeling is just labeling, and I know everyone wants to have a word for something. And if that's the way you are, by all means, look these up.
It
We're not gonna
helps
have 'em.
establish
It does.
like where they are within the relationship. And there's so many different types of relationships within the polyamorous community.
Within all of these, really.
Well, that's
There's
true.
like, if you were to make a tree out of it, I mean, there's branches off of branches off of branches off of branches off of.
Right, right. But that one, that's very, very intense in the aspect that there's a whole lot of information, and we're learning more and more about it because the polyamory group, they stay hidden a lot because there's a lot of us in the kink community stay hidden anyway because of the shame and
The stigmas
and the legality aspects of it, which comes into play with them, especially when there are children involved, and they get associated a lot with like different specific religions that that's how they live their life, and that's not really how that polyamory works. It's not the same.
it is and it isn't. Polyamory by definition just means loving other, multiples.
Right.
So they are part of the polyamory by definition. They just don't consider themselves part of the kink community polyamory norm. I think,
Yeah.
they consider themselves more of following a religion, and that's just part of their religion.
Yeah. I mean, it's starting to be more and more visible, I guess would be a good way to say it, because the LBGT community is becoming more and more accepted. And so, in certain regions in the area, but now you have families that are going to parent-teacher conferences, and it's like, two daddies and a mommy, and, 3 mommies and a dad. I mean, so it's like a different thing, but
2
they're
men and a baby. And
right. So, I mean, they're coming out slowly and carefully, depending on the community that they're in.
so next on the list,
We're going to talk about swingers because it's kind of in the same vein.
kinda, I can see where you'd put that in
Yeah,
the same thing because it's like multiple partners.
correct.
So swingers is basically like partner swapping. If you're swingers, you don't. One of the biggest difference between poly and swingers is The swingers aren't looking to create a family. It's still just a couple, but they'll swap with another couple, or they'll go to a club and just have sex with other people, and then they just want to go back home and live their lives together still. The swinging aspect of it is more just a temporary fun time and that for sex. And swingers are pretty much, from my experience and my research, swingers are pretty much about the sex, not about the relationship. Whereas poly is about the relationship, less about the sex, more about the relationship. They want to have a relationship because they love multiple people. Swingers tend to just, it's let's go swap,
I used to think that.
Okay, correct me.
I'm not trying to correct you.
Oh no, I mean if I'm wrong,
But
I am
that's
not the
how
expert. Yeah.
that's how I viewed swingers as well.
Yeah.
Until
Okay.
we went to Kinky College.
Okay.
And we went to the class where it was I think this was the bedroom rope play.
Oh, where they had the two couples.
And they had the two couples they were swinging couples that have been swinging couples for.
Right. They're committed to swinging with each other.
Correct.
Yes.
So to say that it's just all about there's no relationship there, that's
yeah.
where I'm like,
Gotcha. I'm with you. Yeah. Well, there's always exceptions.
Right.
Again, just like with everything else, there's always subsections to
right.
To each one of these. You're always, and I guess the reason it is that way is because everything you do really is just about what you're wanting to do. Mm-hmm. I like pizza.
Yeah.
So you could consider me, part of the Pizza Eaters Club.
You
know what I mean?
Actually, good.
I mean, in reality, I could probably be the CEO of this club, but within that, you have thin crust, thick crust. You have meat toppings, veggie toppings. You
Thin
have
crust, clearly.
Yeah, I'm a thick crust. You have stuffed. You have people who like different cheeses who don't like cheese at all. You have pizza that has fruit on it that I think is just blasphemy, but that's okay.
And then stinky little
Fishy. So
Yep.
each one of these categories, it really does break down into, and we're only going to touch on a few categories. There are probably hundreds of different categories.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We're just touching on a few just to give you guys an idea of some of the major ones that are out there. So after swingers, we got...
So we could dive into the realm of, this one's way out of our comfort zone. However, we've been exposed to them.
We have been exposed, and I still don't quite get it.
I don't get it.
Again, to each their own.
They enjoy it. So furries.
Furries. And what is a furry?
Yeah.
They're pets. Like they might act like a cat or a dog or...
But is that what is a furry? Because
That's what I took it as.
I thought like pony play, that's pony. That's not the same as furry. Because in my vision...
Well, because ponies generally aren't pets.
So there's like there's the breakdown,
pony
but
play is
not
play.
part of...
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is way out of my
Yeah, this
comfort
one's
zone,
way out of...
out of our area. But my understanding of furries was they're like having a pet. So they'll come up and curl up on your lap, and you pet them like a cat or a puppy. They like to be in kennels. They'll go sleep in a kennel. It's really like having a pet. Pony play is just play. Furries tend to, again, you can, as with all lifestyles, you can bedroom, private, or 24/7. So there's a lot of furries that, like, I've seen a lot of furries that even during the day walk around with a cat ear
Yeah.
things on.
Or they
and,
have their butt plugs
they have
with
their
the
with
tail.
the tails. So again, it's whatever you want it to be, but there are, just understand that furries deal with the animal aspect of it.
And I thought my association with furries is they have the costumes. Like they have
Some do.
they have a convention in Chicago
For furries.
for furries where it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
like
But
fluffy.
that's
Is that the
anamorphic.
same? Oh,
You know,
that's different.
Yeah, is anthropomorphic. Is
So that is a furry though.
it's a furry, but I'm not quite sure all of them are
Kink.
kink furries.
Oh, okay.
People, especially with the invasion of manga. Manga is huge into anthropomorphic
Right. And that's
characters.
how I associate it.
Yeah. So, but within the kink community, those conventions are not really for the. I mean, I'm sure some of the kinksters go because it's up their alley.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So next we have,
We're gonna do this one.
which one are we doing? Let's go down your list. What's this one?
The rope bunnies and the riggers.
Oh, yeah.
That's so sexy.
Yeah. Just so you know, she wants to be a rope bunny so bad.
So bad.
And I am horrible at tying knots. I try,
He does.
but I'm horrible. So a rope bunny,
It's a good thing you were not a Navy man.
oh, I'm sure I would have learned. A rope bunny is someone who just loves to be tied up. And the rigger is the person doing the restraining, doing the knots and the tying,
And the shibari it's so beautiful.
it's beautiful. It's intoxicating, from what I understand.
I wouldn't know.
Well, I do my best.
What we do.
What we do, we all do.
Well,
But let's not talk about the.
yeah, we're
doo-doos
not
right
going there.
Let's not talk about doo-doo.
What
What
we
we have
do
done.
engage in is very sensual and
Yeah.
very
But it is not
Not even close.
restraining. No, I mean, I tried. I gave you the rope dress, and this was
And
at the
I had a
beginning, you
freak
panicked.
out.
Yeah, you freaked out. So I don't know how well you'd be as a rope bunny.
we'd break me in just like everything
Just like
else.
everything. So, but it's really beautiful to watch, beautiful to
Yeah.
see. In my view, it's less sexual and more sensual.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just a
very intimate to me
yeah,
when you
and
see.
if you got a good rigger, it's very artistic.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful to watch.
So
And they got to be quick too because you don't
yeah,
want any
you don't
numb
want any
limbs.
numb
and,
limbs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Which
that's
kind
another-
of also pulls into, and I don't know like if this is necessarily falls in the category of what we're talking
No,
about.
that's more of a
Fetish?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We won't talk about that one. This one I found was interesting.
I've never knew that was a subculture or a thing.
I didn't either. However, when I was doing the
Your
research, it was listed as one. And then you know who came to mind? The beautiful woman, beautiful redhead that is
Kinky
at
college.
from Kinky College that is at the booth with all of the E-stem.
Yeah.
And she has pointy teeth.
But I don't know if those. I thought it was a slip-on thing. I don't think they were like.
Like the legit.
No, I think it was a clip-on, like a grill.
I don't know. This woman has my heart.
That's because she zapped you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She is absolutely stunning.
I can't remember her name now.
Me either, because it's been too long since we've been back. But this category is called vampires, which, that's kind of right up my alley because I like that supernatural stuff. And I really like when you bite me. So,
But I don't draw blood.
no.
I could. My teeth are pretty sharp.
Yes.
So
Yeah, we're not into the blood
no,
stuff.
not at all.
I pass out every every time we do anything. That'd be horrible. But yeah, I found that very
So
interesting.
vampires is a
And I've seen like when you learn something, and then it's kind of like when you see a car. Here we are with the analogies again. Good Lord. When you decide that there is a car that you really like, you've never seen them anywhere. The minute you decide that you want this
you
car
buy it.
or you buy it,
They're
they're
everywhere.
everywhere. So when I saw the vampires category, then I start running through our experiences with Kinky College, and I remember seeing like people dressed up like that in their play in the dungeon, and I'm just like, oh yes.
Huh. I never heard of the vampires.
Well, the next time we go, hopefully October, but
Let me
yeah,
see.
we'll look.
Well, look.
Okay.
Okay. You only got one more on your list, and this is a very popular one.
It is now.
It is now.
Yeah, I don't understand
It's
what
called
happened, but it blew up.
Littles. So littles are individuals who want to act like a child, and it can be at any age. Some of them go back to baby and want to be in diapers with pacifiers. Some of them just want to be like a little 4 or 5 year old and just play with color books and crayons. Associated with the littles in that whole subset there is the daddy doms, where they play the dad, which this is what is always so confusing to me is, and I'm not trying to down anyone, so please don't think I am, but when you're playing a daddy dom to someone who's wanting to be a baby and it gets sexual, that kind of wigs me out a little bit, you know?
Not all daddy doms are associated with the littles.
I get it. I'm not saying they are. I'm saying when they are,
Okay.
and it gets sexual,
Yeah.
it wigs me out.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, and there's so many different extremes of that. Like sometimes I just want to wear this stuff,
Yeah.
and then there are other times where they want to like completely
immerse themselves.
immerse themselves.
Where they actually poop their diapers,
Yeah.
and you got to bottle feed them. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I get that as a sub,
You want to
as
poop
a
your
slave.
diaper?
No,
No, because I ain't changing it.
you will when I'm old and I can't do it myself.
I'll be long dead by then.
You wish. But as a slave, you know, that whole mental thing of I'm always in control, and needing to not be in control, and for you to be in control, and so I get that aspect of the littles. I correlate that.
Okay.
Maybe I'm stretching. I
No,
don't know.
I really don't know, because again, none of these are where we fall in line,
No,
you know, and we just wanted to educate you on what's out there.
just something a little different
yeah,
that, you know, some people don't know. Some people know.
Well,
They've seen them. They just didn't know what the heck was going on.
yeah, and when people generally, in my experience, when people think kink, they either think leather or they think 50 Shades of Grey, and it's
Yeah.
just BDSM.
And
we
abuse.
we just wanted to kind of throw out there, give you some idea. I mean, because there's more than this. There's like the 50s people. There's people that want to live in the 50s. So
I didn't even think about writing all of those
the
down.
guy goes to work, comes home, the wife's waiting there, and hey Ward, how was your day? Oh, that was great. June, where's the beaver?
That's more like role play, though.
No, it's not. They live their lives that way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There are 24/7 in every one of these.
Yep. I
And-
forgot we read that in the book.
Yeah, So, I mean, there's people who believe they're aliens.
Yeah. What are those?
I don't remember what they're called, but it was a weird name.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's tons more out there. These are some of the more common ones, and apparently some of the more uncommon ones, because I never heard of vampires being a subcategory. So, but there's probably hobbits and
And
I mean,
probably.
but so when you think about power exchange and you think about the kink community, uh, understand that there's so much more to it than what's out there.
And so much more to it than what's at the surface level.
Yeah. And like with us, we're Christian. I don't know if that's actually considered a subset or not, but we're Christian. So that makes things different too.
Yeah.
You know
That
what I
was
mean?
not listed, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. But I know there's some more of us out there. I've talked to a few,
Yeah.
and
We aren't all
We-
unicorns.
so. But anyway, if you're interested, do some exploring. There's lots of good books out there that talk about the different subcultures and different aspects of the kink community, and just educate yourself. We're still, like I said, we are not even close to knowing a fraction of what's out there, and we're still trying to educate ourselves while living our lives, while staying within God's boundaries, while raising families, and
going to school.
and going to school and doing all the things that life bring you. But yeah, educate yourself, and at the end of the day, it's your life. You have to do whatever you have to do. It's not up to us or anyone else to tell you. Enjoy your life.
I agree.
God tells us to love everyone and help everyone, and that's what we try to do.
Yep.
So I think that's all we got for this episode, unless you got more to say.
No, not specifically on, like different groups, but, there's a lot out there, and because we are not that educated about a lot of it,
Right.
more information for us. We love to learn.
Yeah.
We love to be educated so that we can educate others and help. If we could completely abolish stigma, that would be fantastic.
That's not going to happen.
But people are people, and we just want to continue to educate. So, fill us in. If anything that we said was way off base, or even a little off base, or you have...
Email us at the kinkychristianpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. Or put comments below.
Or hit us up on Facebook on the Kinky Christian Podcast.
I think that's all we have.
That's all we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
That's too many, isn't it?
Well, because life gets busy. But, we respond to everyone.
Yep.
So hit us up. Share information with us. Let us know where we did good, where we did not, what you'd like to see, if you'd like to see us talk about a topic.
Specifically, if you need us to we would love for you to delve in and learn it for yourself, because you'll have a different perspective than us. You're coming from a different life than us.
Yep.
So, we could certainly dig into it, but it would be more beneficial for you to do it yourself.
But we'll do our best
Absolutely.
to get you as much as we can.
Absolutely.
So until next time, then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and God bless.